It's New Zealand to kick off, and it's Alan Hewson, the New Zealand fullback, who'll start the second test here in Wellington. The referee is Alan Hosey, the school teacher from Edinburgh in Scotland. The Australians had him back in 1976 at Bordeaux when he controversially ruled a no-try, and Australia lost the test match to France by 3 points. The test is underway. The All Blacks stream through. Duncan Hall takes the ball. Australia sets it up. Philip Cox breaks away, kicks ahead. Bernie Fraser knocks on. First mistake by New Zealand. So that's a far more positive start from the Australians, and some good early work from Philip Cox, and the mistake coming from Bernie Fraser. First scrum very interesting. Australia hold well. Cox working the short side. Solid tackle by Fraser. Andy Hayden, an early test for his ankle, kept in play by Murray, but the referee Hosey will play the line out, and Fraser getting back into the game straight away.
Yes, well, Fraser made that mistake early, but with all his experience, of course, it didn't rattle him. Nice break early by Philip Cox.
So Walker will have to judge this throw because the breeze is really streaming down the ground. Taken by Andy Dalton. Walker tries to wrap him up. Shaw driven back. And again, we've seen some strong driving play from the Australians, but an offside ruling by referee Hosey. Chris Roach going very low to that drive.
Well, the All Blacks obviously will find this wind very difficult. It is very strong.
The very pleasing feature there was the low driving of the Australians. Mark Shaw was driven backwards by Chris Roach, and Wayne Smith finds touch just inside Australia's territory. We've had a minute and a half of the test match. Taken by Murray Mexted. Shaw mauls from him. Now they'll try and roll the maul. New Zealand take it forward. Higginson slips it back well to Hayden. Murray set it up. Lost ahead by Murray Mexted. And so a knock on Australia's ball midway between 22 and halfway in Australia's territory.
And this huge New Zealand pack, very experienced, will keep it fairly tight, I think, for a while. This wind will be concerning him, and here's a penalty. Well, not a penalty, should I say. Provisional penalty against the halfback Cox.
Loveridge takes the tap away to Smith. Now it's Mark Taylor running straight at the Australian backs. He's lost the ball forward. The referee will play the knock forward. Mark Taylor testing out the Australian inside backs early in the piece. His first touch of the ball, and the scrum 30 metres out from the Australian goal line. Andy McIntyre from the University Club in Brisbane. A very promising test debut. Good scrum from Australia. Roger Gould with his big Bertha boot. That's a boomer for Hewson. He takes it well. The crowd loved it. And his kick goes sideways. Australia to play the game now in New Zealand's half. There's Peter Lucas. He's the number 8 today. But Hewson surviving early pressure, a swirling ball from Roger Gould.
As Roger Gould really put that one up, but I must admit he put it straight down the Hewson's throat. Hewson was standing in that position before the kick.
Well, here's the penalty to Australia. First chance for points to the Australians, jumping across the line. And it looked to be Higginson, number 4, the man penalised. And so Roger Gould, who kicked 3 out of 4 in the first international, has his chance to give Australia the lead.
And whilst it doesn't look a long way, as you can see, he's just out of the quarter. He's going to have a tremendous job judging this wind. It's, as you are aware now, of course, that it's very, very strong, going left to right. And it's only a short kick, but a very difficult one to judge because the wind will really carry it on. Here's the play, cross the line at the front, and a punch. A punch by one of the All Blacks on
Gary Knight.
Knight it was, I believe, Gordon.
Yes, Gary Knight punched, but it was Higginson who was penalised for jumping across the line. And this, I can tell you, is the place that Ken Wright in 1978 missed his penalty, which would have given Australia victory. This one has correctly, though, been awarded 15 metres in. And so it's a very handy position here for Roger Gould and a crucial kick for the Wallabies. He's missed it, out to the right.
Well, I must make one comment. I've heard booing when a kicker is taking a kick, but that's the first time I've heard whistles. And that's a whistle that, like the referee has, just before he kicked.
History repeated itself, because that's exactly where Ken Wright put it, and he too was booed as he went for the kick. Alan Hewson, he's made a tidy start. Kick is high. Williams goes high. Knocked forward by Higginson. And Poidevin and Ashworth not seeing eye to eye, but squaring off. And so the scrum to go down midway 22 and halfway. Australian scrum looking solid in the early stages. Cox having trouble getting this ball into the scrum. Hosey now blows up the two front rows. Poidevin opposed to Graham Murray on this side. Australian ball to Mark Ella. His kick is a high one. The wind takes it. Australia through. Knocked back by Mexted. Campese was nearly away. Australia drive in. Here it comes. Mark Ella. Hawker. Hawker goes through to Gary Ella. A chance for Gould. Mark Ella's there. New Zealand try and wrap it up. Knock forward Australia, and very nearly a try to the Wallabies.
It's Gould very unlucky that he couldn't get that ball away to Peter Grigg. It certainly looked as though it was on, but just couldn't get it away. The defence covered him up. Had he been able to, I'm sure Grigg would have scored in the corner.
Michael Hawker certainly given a lot of latitude there by the New Zealand inside backs. Smith in trouble. Good pressure there from Philip Cox, the Australian halfback. And we're only 15 metres out from the New Zealand goal line.
Yes, and
the pressure all from Australia in the opening 8 minutes of play in this second international. Andy Hayden, the man with the injured ankle, and Mexted coming up in front of him. So New Zealand certainly taking these early lineouts, and Smith not gaining much ground, but has taken play outside the 22.
Yes, and they're the ones that the All Blacks want at the moment. Very difficult for them to come out of there. Their kicks are not going far.
Knocked back by Murray. Good bounce here for Taylor. He does the little kick. Campese's there. High kick by Campese. He's put everyone on side. Hewson's back there. It's a tester. He took it brilliantly. Well caught by Campese. Roach is there for Australia. It's only 10 metres out. Australia set up here. This is trouble for New Zealand. Here it comes. And the ball knocked forward. It's a penalty to Australia. Well, that was a good decision by the referee, Hosey. The crowd didn't like it. But I think that New Zealand man who was fringing saved what could have been an Australian try.
Yes, it was certainly a try on there. There was a hand down. It was very difficult to tell whether that ball had got out of the maul. Let's see, there it is. Now watch about here. Oh no, it was just before then. The hand came out just as it was coming out of that maul. Or should I say ruck. So another opportunity here for Gould. I sincerely hope that we don't hear the whistle that we heard last time.
So it's a similar spot on the other side for Roger Gould. And unlike Australia, there is no sand available for the goal kickers here. And so it's very difficult on these surprisingly hard grounds this winter for the Australian kickers, especially with the man who lays the ball down, as Roger Gould does, because these balls are very light, and the Australians have had a lot of difficulty with these new balls which are used here in New Zealand.
Once again, the wind is the difficult problem, not the distance.
10 minutes gone. Better looking kick. Australia in front. Roger Gould makes it 1 out of 2, and we've had 10 minutes of play in this first international.
Well done, Australia. They've kept the pressure up. New Zealand, of course, have found it very difficult to get away from their half once the ball is put back there. Now, this is the man that I expect very early when the ball gets back from this kick-off, if it comes back near him, to push it well downfield, get New Zealand back in their quarter, and then suggest to them to try and get out. And, of course, that will be repeated on Australia in the second half if this win continues.
Well, this has been a very positive start to the Test match by the Australians. Their play at the breakdown has been quite outstanding. Taken away by Mark Shaw. Australia are onside. Referee playing advantage. A penalty now to New Zealand. The Australian backs up inside over the line there of offside, and so a chance here for New Zealand to level the scores. Hewson knows this win so well. He's playing on his home ground here, and this one is only 10 metres off centre. He's 25 metres out. There's Graham Murray urging his charges on, but Alan Hewson with an undeniable chance here of levelling the scores.
Well, certainly Hewson, as we mentioned earlier, is from Wellington and certainly knows the windy conditions. It's very strong, this wind, so he's going to find it difficult. As you can see, it's almost in front and just outside the quarter, about 3 metres. I couldn't say it's an easy one.
Not an easy kick here for Alan Hewson. He's right into the teeth of this breeze, and he's put it out to the right. No goal. Taken by Gould. And Gould thumps it downfield over the halfway line. Huge kick there by Roger Gould, gaining the best part of 60 metres.
Well, Gould very quickly summed that up, had the ball, made no attempt, of course, to put it down to have a 20 or a quarter dropout. He realised that he could get it well downfield, and he's 10 metres, kicked it 10 metres inside the All Black half. Great kick.
Taken by Mark Shaw in the middle. Comes back Australia's way. New Zealand caught offside there. The referee playing advantage. Australia winning some good ruck ball. Mark Ella kicks high. It's a tester. Hawker couldn't take it. They slip it back, New Zealand, and do it well. Stu Wilson counter-attacking, caught by Ella. What a crunching tackle that was. Here's Chris Roach. But the referee will play the initial knock-on by the Australians, and Chris Roach able to stand off today, and he has been very prominent in play so far, yes, particularly the loose play.
If I can be critical of Australia after that kick, not enough of them came pouring through. There was just 2 or 3 which gave the All Blacks a chance of getting the ball clear to 1 or 2 players. They've got a steam after that ball with this wind. There was not enough up after that kick.
Good ball here for Loveridge. Wayne Smith inside his 22, and he makes no mistake. That relieves the pressure for New Zealand. Wayne Smith playing his 3rd Test match this afternoon after an unhappy tour to Australia in 1980. We're on the 10-metre line, New Zealand territory. Australia lead 3-0, and we've had 13.5 minutes in the first half. There's the first line out for Steve Williams. Cox to Ella. He sees a gap. Kick charged down. Shaw toes ahead. Campese back there for Australia. And he does well. But the New Zealand inside backs were offside, so we come right back. The referee played advantage that time. And so the penalty going to Australia, a timely one too, and Roger Gould will take a shot for goal. Well, this one is 56 metres out, almost in centre field, and well within Roger Gould's range.
Well, under normal circumstances, you would say this is a very ambitious kick, because you can see he's a couple of metres inside his own half. He's almost in the centre of the field. Not quite. He would probably be in line with the left-hand post. But obviously he has this great wind behind him, and it's well worth taking. I wouldn't be surprised if it had been further back that he would have taken it, because if he does connect and collect correctly, the ball will certainly make the distance. His problem is, of course, that he may try to punch it too hard, but he's a very cool customer.
Roger Gould from 55 metres. He's almost in centre field. He's got the distance. It's going straight. No, just out to the right. Bad luck for Gould. And so the score remains at 3-0 in favour of the Australians. Gould 1 out of 3. But interesting there how Mark Ella came inside this man, Graham Murray, coming inside Murray's tackle, and then Mark Shaw ruled offside. Ella playing with a lot more composure in the early stages of this test match. Houston kicks off. Williams goes high. Loose ball for the All Blacks. Wilson under pressure. Takes play up towards the halfway line. There's the experience of Super Stu Wilson. Playing his 26th test match for the All Blacks this afternoon. 15 tries for New Zealand, only one short of Ian Kirkpatrick's record. Another penalty here to Australia. Another one within kicking distance. Bit hard to see what that one was for, but perhaps some barging in the line out by the All Blacks. And Gould again looking for points.
Yes, it's very difficult to tell exactly what happened there. But Gould, as you see, is now having another attempt. Certainly well worth the attempt. Australia must keep the pressure up and must obviously gather in some points in this first half. They've got 3 points up now, and they certainly require a lot more than before half-time.
Point to make here that that penalty could not have been awarded for a line-out infringement because it would had to have been awarded 15 metres in. So the referee must have thought that the line-out had finished and there was some fringing offside play by New Zealand. So Gould again from 50 metres. This is his 4th attempted goal. 16.5 minutes of play gone in this first half. Roger Gould, here he comes. That's a magnificent kick by Roger. Good as Gould, 6-0, 17 minutes gone.
Well, it was a magnificent kick. When you consider the difficulty he had, not only in the distance and the angle, but to be able to judge that strong breeze, to drift it back through the post, which basically he did, was a magnificent kick.
So Australia getting the early points they were looking for, but they'll certainly lead a lot more because this breeze is certainly worth between 12 and 15 points. So Australia will be looking for a similar lead to the one the All Blacks had in the first test. You'll recall they led by 19-3 at half-time. The line-out's favouring New Zealand by 6-1. The penalties 4-3 to Australia. Houston's kick. Williams took it well. Tackle high by Hayden. Australia set up. Cox has it. Back to Gould. His kick is a high one. Houston underneath. It's a tester. Houston again doing well at the back. And the crowd enjoyed it too. Well done, Alan Houston.
Well, so they should. That kick, we're at a tremendous height here, and I really mean that. That ball was almost level with us, drifting down with that wind. The Australians couldn't quite get up to it. But beautifully taken by Houston. Now Australia, and the free kick against them. Interference there in that line out. There's a little bit of bumping and barging.
I think the referee felt that the Australians were not a metre apart in the line-out. They were standing too close together, and that's what the penalty was for. Well, Knight almost lost it, set up by Hayden. Taken away by Murray. Got the pass to Shaw, and he's collared by Lucas. Lost it forward. The touch judge has his flag up, but Peter Lucas covering well. And so we'll see a line out just inside Australia's territory. Australia leading by 6-0. The first quarter almost completed. Walker throws in. Taken by Hall. Lucas has it for Australia. Here they go. Well, Murray was nearly offside there. Ella looking for territory. And that one goes deep. Graham Murray appeared to be through prematurely. The referee said no. And so Australia keeping the ball in New Zealand's quarter. 21 minutes gone.
Obviously, tactics by Mark Ella is to push this down to the New Zealand quarter. He obviously wants to get more possession down there so that he can start running his backs. But New Zealand doing well and getting out of problems.
It's a bad kick taken by Gary Ella. He did well. Lance Walker mauls for Australia. Here they come. There's the big drive. Cox has the ball to Ella. Field goal. Is it there? No, it's out to the left-hand side. Well, he wouldn't have been happy with that one. He wasn't far out. The score remains at 6-0 after 22 minutes.
Yes, Ella, of course, when one makes up his mind to have a crack at a field goal, that's really what's in his mind. He didn't have a lot of time. I thought he might have spun that one along, but obviously he was thinking about it, so he had to go on with it. Was not balanced and had to kick it off his left foot.
Again, the ball is blown back. Loose ball for Loveridge. He's in trouble. Walker through. Taken by Taylor. Throws the dummy. Lucas picked him up. Lucas mauling for Australia. All Blacks drive in. Australia have it. Mark Ella. Look at the overlap here for Australia. Roger Gould to Campese. Campese is over. No, it's a try. Gary Ella has scored. Yes. Gary Ella, his first try in a test match. And great work there by the Australians, particularly David Campese, the 19-year-old, and Australia ahead 10-0.
Well, it was a good effort. New Zealand almost got themselves out of that with some good cover defence, but it certainly was good backing up. There's Mark Ella urging his boys on, suggesting, here it comes now. It's good play with Cox bringing it out. Mark Ella looking for support. Look at the defence closing in. Of course, Roger Gould's got it and just managed to slip that round. Campese then looks as though he's going to get it on his own and finds the youngster Gary Ella in support to score right in the corner.
So magnificent work there by Roger Gould, and what a moment for Gary Ella. He's walking on cloud 9 at the moment. The youngest of the astonishing Ella Trinity has scored his first test try, the 22-year-old, and now Gould with a very difficult conversion right from touch. So the Australians badly wanted that try. 23 minutes gone. A very positive start by the Wallabies. It was Gould who managed to get the pass around Stu Wilson, and then Campese stepping brilliantly inside Graham Murray before turning the ball outside again to Gary Ella.
Well, Gould must have a certain amount of confidence after his great kick penalty, the one from the far touch, almost from halfway.
There in the centre is Bob Dwyer, the Australian coach. In the red blanket on his right-hand side, Dominic Vaughan. But here's Gould. He struck it well. Not well enough, say the touch judges. The score remains at 10-0 in favour of Australia. Gould with 2 out of 5. Now here's the replay. And it's Mark Taylor. Now he throws the dummy well, but look at the covering tackle of Peter Lucas. And Lucas took the ball away with sheer strength. Australia won the quick ruck. Mark Ella now sized up, delayed the pass, put Loveridge out of the play. Gould around Stu Wilson, and now play has continued. Campese getting the ball to Gary Ella, but the mark has been awarded as play has continued from the kickoff, and it's Roger Gould inside his 22. And he finds touch 8 metres from the halfway line. So the Australians, with their confidence pretty high at the moment, will be looking for further points in the second quarter of this match as they have this very strong breeze in this first half. Murray Mexted with his left ear bandaged. Cleanly won ball, but Australia driving. It looks as though New Zealand has the lead after taking that ball, but Australia certainly driving in there and sending New Zealand backwards.
Yes, Philip Cox obviously thought Australia had a great chance of getting that one out. He was pointing to it. The referee obviously decided there was no way it was coming out.
It's been a real turnaround at the breakdowns by the Australians. Mexted going straight into Mark Ella. Now we'll see the New Zealand drive. Well wrapped up, though, was Mexted. So that's the tactic from New Zealand, running into the Australian inside backs, but Australia standing their ground that time.
Australian forwards got round to it fairly quickly. Mexted, of course, a danger man from that number 8 position. But he was collared. Ayala.
A wide blindside here for the All Blacks. Here they go. Mark Taylor got round one man, lost the ball. Nexted picked it up well, anticipating superbly. 10 metres from halfway. New Zealand have this ruck. Smith got it to Taylor. Ella caught him. Now it's Philip Cox. Doing well. Well, Michael Hawker there was whacked by Graham Murray. The touch judge didn't see it.
Well,
and that's something we don't normally see from the All Black skipper, Graham Murray. He really gave Michael Hawker a nice clip with his right hand.
Yes, it was
and Cox again is penalised. It's a free kick to New Zealand for an incorrect feed. It's out of range for a drop kick into this wind, although it's only 26 metres out. They'd be lucky to get the distance. Smith, back to Hayden. He didn't think he was getting it. It was Higginson. Steve Williams in there. Australia come away. Offside. And the Australians chatting back. Award another 10 metres. Murray says we'll have the penalty kick, thank you. And Hewson now from point-blank range should reduce the leeway to 7 points.
Yes, I think the Australians now, Mark Ella certainly has to start pulling the side together a little bit, because they've just lost their cool. Philip Cox lashed at that ball whilst it was lying on the ground after the decision was made, and the penalty, quite frankly, I think went against Philip Cox.
So Alan Hewson, after missing his first attempt, has a chance to make it 10-3. He's only 16 metres away. He shouldn't miss this one, but the ball blows over. And I wonder if Super Stu Wilson will come in and hold this one for him.
Yes, he is, and it certainly gives you an idea of just how strong it is.
Perfect look at this kick from Hewson. No mistake. Australia 10, New Zealand 3. A costly mistake there by the Australians. And we've had 23.5 minutes of play in the first half.
And certainly Australia, I think, would have hoped to have turned at half-time with the All Blacks showing nil score. That's 3 points. Will have hurt the Australians a little bit, particularly after the foolish act.
Big kick by Gould. Play to resume with the 22. Yes, well, the Australians were penalised a further 10 for chatting back there. Mark Ella certainly was querying the referee's decision, which is the captain's prerogative. But I wonder if it would have been a more or longer odds about the kick for Hewson if he had to have taken it from the original spot. Knock on by Australia. 12 metres in from the main stand touchline. Australia leading 10-3. Nexted, straight into touch.
Well, no doubt the All Blacks are going to use the blind as much as they can from here on in. Try and keep it fairly tight and keep the Australian score down. Australia must let loose a little bit now.
Ball bouncing around. All Blacks driving in. New Zealand winning the lineouts by 7-2. Australia being forced backwards. They roll off well. Mark Shaw has the ball. He got it back to Loveridge, who threw a dummy. Australians at 6s and 7s. Murray with the ball. They drive in. Another dummy from Loveridge, loose on the ground. Knock on New Zealand, but a tremendous rolling maul there from the All Blacks from that line out.
Well, that's a little bit to the order that Freddie Allen discussed with me last night. He said this pack knows each other so well that they know exactly what's going on in the mauls, and they showed it then, and they did it very well. Putting great pressure on this Australian pack now. Australia must start to use some of the possession. Start running it.
Loveridge coming through on Cox. The All Blacks are offside. Well, they're past masters at fringing, and Australia will take play deep into New Zealand territory now. 10 minutes before half-time. And Gould is going to take a shot from 60 metres out. This one is 15 metres off centre field. And that's a pretty wise decision too, because, again, the distance shouldn't trouble this celebrated boot of Roger Gould.
Well, when he kicked the one from just 2 metres inside his own half, we did suggest that even if it was back to the 10-metre line, he would probably have an attempt at it. And as you can see, he's 1 metre from it. It's a wider kick. He's more off towards the sideline, but he's a powerful kicker.
Well, this will be one of the longest goal kicks, if successful, in Test match history. It's 60 metres out. He's muffed that one. Taken back over the line by New Zealand. And the referee says a 22. Well, the referee has made a mistake there, because the ball was taken over the goal line by New Zealand, Stu Wilson. And so the All Blacks let off there. That should have been a 5-metre scrum. Chris Roach with the ball. Mauling to Duncan Hall. Australia drive in. Here they go, the Australians. Hawker handles well. Back to Lucas. They're spinning it now. Gariella went the wrong way. High kick. There's no one back there for New Zealand. Hewson now. Look at the bounce. Campese. Oh, he missed it. Lost it forward. Let off for New Zealand. See the bounce there from that high kick by Gariella. Initially he went the wrong way. Then the kick was judged to perfection. And Hewson really in desperate straits that time.
Well, it certainly was, and that was a very near thing. I thought Campese had it, but he was on the way down, really, when I think that he didn't quite get control of the ball. Certainly Ellis' kick was a good one.
Taken away by Mark Shaw. He lost it forward. Here's Mark Ella. Good hands to Hawker, to Gariella. Here's Gould. He's in trouble. Murray's in there. He got it away to Loveridge. Now it's Bernie Fraser. Roach across. Hawker. Roach, a late tackle. Penalty to New Zealand. Holding the man. Bernie Fraser, after towing that ball through cleverly with the grubber, was interfered with. Let's see it again. Murray was the man who slipped it back for Loveridge. Then away to Fraser. Roach coming across in cover defence. Fraser now puts it onto his left foot. There's the late tackle by Chris Roach. And that's why the penalty was awarded.
Well, certainly a bit unfortunate for Roach. Roach was really making every effort to get there and was just that little bit late. And consequently, the penalty has gone against Australia. We're looking at the clock now showing us something like about 8 minutes to go before half-time. The score 10 points to 3 in favour of Australia. And so from the All Black point of view, very important kick, because they certainly want to bridge that gap a little bit. Not an easy one.
Now this will virtually be an up and under for New Zealand, because the wind will blow it back, so the All Blacks will be following. That's a lovely kick. He's missed it. David Campese, back to Roger Gould. There's a huge kick from Gould, a drop kick of 65 metres inside the 22. It's nearly in touch. Hewson allows the ball to go over the goal line, and so play back to the 22. Australia quickly putting the ball deep into New Zealand's territory 5 minutes before half-time, and Australia leading by 10 points to 3, but I don't think that's enough at the moment.
Well, not the way this New Zealand pack is going. I get the impression they might take over a little bit in the second half. This forward pack is going well. Australia spreading out a little bit too much in the forwards.
Australia certainly need a try before half-time. Chris Roach, quick hands for the Australians. Mark Ella. Gould's in, straightens up. Australia set up. Mark Ella on the short side. Grubber kick here for Campese, but he finds touch instead. No, he doesn't. Just going dead.
So it was very close to the corner flag. As though it might go out just before it got to the flag, but it didn't. It's about a metre too late for Australia. Quick tap.
A fly kick here. Gould in. He's found a gap. Gould still going. Over the 22. New Zealand there first, but Australia drive in. Now it's Peter Lucas. He pushes off one man. Lucas caught. Roach is there. New Zealand over the top. Here it comes for Australia. Mark Ella. Right foot field goal's a bad one. They weren't composed that time, Australia. A long way out for that shot. But New Zealand feeling the strain after that burst by Roger Gould.
Well, this is the Australian back line at the moment is a little bit at 6s and 7s in attack. They're not lining up very well at all. And if there was ever a couple of occasions they should have lined up and got right into it in good first attack football, it was in the last couple of moments.
Wayne Smith, caught by Roach. Well done, Chris Roach, and that's a penalty, I would say. Yes, going over the top, the Australian that time. And New Zealand play on quickly. Murray, solid tackle by Chris Roach. It was Duncan Hall. Hall's in there again with Andy Dalton. And the Australians are offside. Chris Roach penalised. He must stay behind the last man's feet. The Australians panicking. Duncan Hall's on the ground, so is Andy McIntyre. That should have been a penalty. That man had a knee on the ground. Yes, the referee finally awards it. And Australia will take a shot for goal.
Well, the referee has been pretty hard at the moment. I thought that when he penalised Australia just a short while ago, I found it very difficult to believe that they were up offside. But he's certainly coming hard and fast with the penalties.
Here's Gary Knight. He was on one knee there. He should have released the ball. He didn't do it straight away, and therefore he was tackled. And the referee says penalty to Australia, although he didn't rule it straight away. Now Duncan Hall, the Australian forward leader, is on his back. He was heavily tackled in that last ruck. He drove in, and he really looks to be a fairly sick and sorry boy at the moment on the New Zealand 22.
Yes, Hall really came in to try and nullify the adventurous play of the New Zealand pack. They were starting to roll the ball, and their combination is very good. I must admit they seem to know exactly what each other is doing, and Hall really flew into to try and bring a halt to it, and he's obviously given himself a pretty solid blow, which is most unfortunate. Doesn't look well.
Very close to the solar plexus, and Hall with a back injury is leaving the field in the hands of the physiotherapist Richard Dunn. So he's gone off the field. Australia a man down. Steve Cutler being called down to warm up. So what a moment this could be for the giant from the Gordon Club, who's just speaking now to the Australian coach Bob Dwyer. And it looks as though Cutler may come on for his test call, but I don't think Duncan Hall will relinquish that spot without giving it every consideration. Now, this vital kick for Roger Gould. Australia desperately needs this one. 3 minutes before half-time. That looks straight. It was 13-3. There's hope there for Australia with 3 minutes before half-time.
Well, certainly it came at a great time for Australia. Now, a problem lies for Australia here now because Duncan Hall on the sideline, limping badly, not looking very happy. About 3 minutes to go to half-time. They must get this ball, put it back in out of the danger zone, because we will go through that ritual of a doctor having to come and see that the player cannot continue, which I find crazy, and I've said at every international test match. Australia going to play without Hall.
So Australia now a man down. The ball was taken there by Higginson. Poitevin comes away. Duncan Hall doesn't feel he can go on, I don't think. He's an overlap for New Zealand. Pekeri knocked it forward. Campese back there. Mark Ella, they're playing advantage. Lucas. Australia dangerous from broken play. Chris Roach. Lacking support. Australia arrive in numbers. Here's a chance for Ella. To Gould. Now they have an overlap. Hawker. Now it's Peter Grigg. Peter Grigg going inside Loveridge. Back to Mark Ella. Gary Ella. Lucas for the line. Can he get it out? It's a try to Steve Williams. It's Campese. That's a great try. Australia further ahead. What a magnificent test match try. And the second in a test match for 19-year-old David Campese.
What a great try. That was a great try. And remember, they were without Hall, who was still on the sideline. And what a great effort by this Australian backline. And there were players galore. And here it comes now with Mitchell Cox.
And it's Mark Ella getting the ball outside to Gould again, who goes nicely before delivering to Hawker. Now, Peter Grigg did very well. He came inside Dave Loveridge. Then the pass back into the ever-present Mark Ella. Beautiful pass to Gary Ella. And Lucas looked as though he could have scored himself, but he drew the defence beautifully. Steve Williams, he stretched out. Watt backing up from him. And then the unmarked David Campese, the 19-year-old from Canberra. He gallops away and puts it down under the black dot. And that's the try Australia was looking for. And it looks as though we could have an identical situation to Lancaster Park, because New Zealand led 19-3 there at halftime.
Well, here it comes, and this is Grigg. He's straightening up pretty well, looking for the support, and found it in Mark Ella. Gary Ella did very well to juggle it, and this is the man that did well. He looked as though it was on for him. That was Lucas, and of course Williams backing up and Campese finishing it off.
Roger Gould has converted the try. The score at halftime is Australia 19, New Zealand 3. There's Bob Dwyer, the man who's done so well at the helm of the Australian side over here in New Zealand. New Zealand come away. Ella has the ball. Looks for support. Roach is there again. Australia trying to set up. Comes New Zealand's way. There's a big overlap here. Wayne Smith stepping nicely. He's still going. Lost the ball forward. Led off Australia. Well, Wayne Smith did so well. Went a little bit too far, I thought, because he had men to burn outside. Australia was in no man's land as far as cover defence went, but 8 metres from halfway is where we'll see the scrum.
Yes, Lucas was in defence, but Wayne Smith stepped right inside him.
Gould. Not a bad kick, but Hewson's back there. High kick. Mark Ella's there. He calls for the ball. Takes it well. And he finds touch into a very strong breeze. Not one of his better kicks, but it finally got where he wanted it to.
Yes, it looked as though it was going to be cleaned up very quickly by one of the All Blacks on the touchline there. So the pressure now comes on Australia.
Poitevin in there for Australia. They have the ball. Gould, and against the breeze, he takes play up towards the 10-metre line. That's a good kick by Gould. It bounced into touch that time. 3 metres short of the halfway line. Duncan Hall still in trouble. I don't think he can go on.
Yes,
he's a very courageous man, and it looks as though he's going to go off. And it's Steve Cutler to join the Australian side for the first time in a test match. A tragic moment for Duncan Hall, who's been the outstanding Australian forward on this tour.
Well, I think, Gordon, that's why Bob Dwyer was out there. I think he, at halftime, wanted Hall to be inspected by a doctor. Maybe the doctor did inspect him and suggested he should come off. But I think Dwyer really wanted him to come off, knowing that he could put the fresh lad Cutler on. And Hall certainly looked very, very uncomfortable.
Mark Ella. New Zealand right in amongst the inside backs. Here's Philip Cox. Walker was out there. So Steve Cutler about to come onto the field. What a moment for this young man. He's only 22 years of age. And there's Andy Hayden. That's the man he'll be opposed to. Steve Cutler is on the field in this line-out, opposed to Andy Hayden, Gould. Hayden took the ball and drove through the line-out. Here's a chance for New Zealand to attack. It's a high kick. Smith putting it high. Campese's there. Australia couldn't take it. Steve Williams does, though. Now they'll drive in New Zealand. But Australia doing well. Mark Ella. That's a relieving kick. That's a great kick by Ella. And well done, Steve Williams, who has had a mighty game in this test match. But Ella there on his right foot, sending play back into touch outside the 22. The All Blacks have certainly shown their hand in the second half, Trevor.
Yes, they have. They're just going to repeat the way that Australia played in the first half. It's going to be up and high, and a lot is going to be asked of this Australian pack to get back and grab ball, as they did in that case with Williams.
New Zealand win the line out. They're driving again. Here it comes. Taylor. Fraser lost the ball. Now it's Wayne Smith. He hasn't done badly. Gould's there. And he gets the mark. Good news, too, for our Queensland viewers. The Queensland under-19 side defeated the Wellington Colts by 19-13. And Duncan Hall's younger brother, Lindsay, who captained the side, scored the winning try. Gould's kick takes play outside the 22. So 4 minutes of play gone in the second half. Australia leading by 19 points to 3. In that first half, tries to David Campese and Gary Ella. 3 penalties by Roger Gould, who also kicked a conversion. New Zealand really have dominated the line-out. Steve Williams goes up, knocked forward by the Australians. So a scrum here just outside the Australian 22.
Well, now, this is the area which could be very interesting as to what the tactics of New Zealand will be, whether they're going to try and run it, or whether they'll keep it fairly close and get down to the close to the goal line. Remains to be seen. It's a good push from them, and a good push from Australia.
Now it's Smith. They'll clear it wide. Hewson kicks ahead. It's too deep, I think. Oh, what a nice kick that was by Hewson. A metre from the goal line.
Oh,
so heavy pressure here for the Wallabies. 5 minutes gone in the second half.
That was a valuable kick to New Zealand.
New Zealand still well in this game.
Australia's throw. Hayden will be a danger man, I think. Oh, he's going to try.
Mark Shaw. Mark Shaw got the try. Mark Shaw it'll be, I'm sure. Yes, it is. And so New Zealand back in business. 19 points to 7. 5 minutes after the resumption.
Well, in the replay, when it comes up, watch for Hayden. He comes in, he's slightly out of the play there, out of the line. Barges across well. I think he just got a finger to it. And now here you can see that there's a mad scramble between the Blacks and the Golds. It looked as though it's going the Golds' way, but we lost it. And that's Shaw there with it. The referee goes round. I don't know whether he comes into the picture. There he is now, and he's got his eye, and he's down low, and has no hesitation in awarding the try.
So now it's Alan Hewson. 10 metres in from touch. Nice looking kick. Just out to the left-hand side. Dear, oh dear, that shaved the left-hand upright. Here's the end-on replay, and here you'll see Philip Cox can't take it. Mark Shaw's got it under his right arm. The drive there from Murray Mexted, and Shaw is driven by the All Black forwards over the goal line. Hosey, look at him, in perfect position, and that's a fair try to New Zealand. 19-7. Australians can't afford to panic in this situation. New Zealand winning another ruck. Back it comes for Smith. His kick is across to Campese. Campese with room to move. Stu Wilson in front. Off he goes. He's beaten Stu Wilson. High kick. Who said he couldn't kick on the left foot? Campese's kick is a good one. Roach is back there for Australia. Australia set it up. Overlap here. Roger Gould straightens up. Back into the forwards. It's only 10 metres out. Here it comes for Mark Ella. Now it goes to Campese. He's well tackled by Wilson. Ella has the ball. They're driving it again, Australia. They're controlling it well. Roach with the ball. I think he should have passed it. Lucas behind him. They've lost ground there, Australia. Here it comes again.
Well,
The ball
some good
coming
play.
out there.
Good
But
play.
again, the Australians setting up that second phase position so well, with the back row simply superb.
Campese's run, number 11 there. He really stretched right round Stu Wilson, a man of great experience.
Ella. Cut out pass to Gary Ella. He lost the ball forward. Stu Wilson lost it forward. Play on, says the referee. Australia trying to set up. Here it comes. Gary Ella to Mark Ella to Hawker. Well picked up. Now it's Roach. Back in field. Did it well to Michael Hawker. Philip Cox. Mark Ella. Kick ahead. Mark Taylor gets the mark. So the Australians applying pressure, but Mark Taylor will steady the situation down now and take play up towards halfway.
Well, in that flurry, a couple of flurries that we've had there, Australia, let's watch the kick first. It's not going out, I don't think. Yes, it is. Campese tried to knock it back in. But in that flurry, Australia probably a little bit unlucky that they didn't get points. But full credit to this All Black side. They stretched out very well in. Their backs were all waiting, well out. And Australia found it very difficult to find that hole.
10-metre line in Australian territory. Australia leading by 19 points to 7. And it's Australia's feet because New Zealand knocked forward that time. The Australian backs, I don't think they can afford to kick this possession to New Zealand in their second half.
I don't think they will from this position unless they Mark Ella decides to come the blind and just do a grubber through and hope for a result from the next line out.
Australia have it. Mark Ella, spoiled by Loveridge. Playing advantage. Here's Loveridge again. They lost it. Had Hayden. A chance for New Zealand. Taylor. Stumping tackle by Lucas. Gary Ella. And the referee will bring it back for the penalty. Offside Australia. He played the advantage to the full that time.
Well, that was certainly probably the longest advantage I've seen for a long time. I hate to say it, but I really would have thought that the position for the kick would have been about 10 or 12 metres this way, because that's where I believe, and I think his ruling was for an offside. And I will obviously the replay, and we might see the incident, but it was a long way closer to us. I was of that opinion. But he certainly gave them, which I agree with. I'm a great believer in the advantage rule being played right out.
So Alan Hewson now with a chance to reduce the leeway to 9 points. It looks pretty good. Hewson makes it 2 out of 4. 2 penalty goals to Alan Hewson, a try to Mark Shaw, making up New Zealand's 10 points. New Zealand trailed by 19-3 at half-time. And can Australia hold on? For Australia, tries to David Campese and Gary Ella. Roger Gould has kicked 3 penalties and 1 conversion. (19-10) the scoreline. We've had 12 minutes of play in the second half. Ella's kick is a good one. Australia driving in. New Zealand have it. They're running it again. Mark Taylor. High kick for Gould in good position. Grigg is back there. Fraser knocked it on again for the second time. Bernie Fraser. Well, he didn't really take his time. He rushed it a bit.
Yes,
and Australia now only 30 metres out from the New Zealand's goal line.
Well, Australia wanted possession.
Ella. Hawker. Back to Ella. Gould knocked forward. Mistake from Australia. Gary Ella there. Well, if it had come off, it would have had New Zealand in big trouble, but Gould not quite taking that ball. There's Peter Burke, the All Black coach. He must be looking very anxiously onto this second half. New Zealand trailing 19-3 at halftime. Smith. Fraser coming through on this one. It looks to be too deep.
The Australian backs, when they're going into attack, are certainly trying a few things and finding it very difficult to bring them off. The wind obviously is affecting them, but again, this New Zealand backline defence, as it was in the first test, is very, very quick to come up and play themselves amongst the Australian backs and disorganise them.
13 minutes gone. Australia win it. No, a foot has gone into touch. Peter Lucas. So the line out, 25 metres out from the Australian goal line. 19-10 the score. Andy Hayden, he stood up well to the test match. He's been getting high in the line-outs. He wants this one badly. Can he do it? He did. A brilliant take by Hayden. Two hands. And here's the rolling maul from New Zealand. Here it comes, Murray.
The Blacks are there again.
Gary Knight, tackled by Chris Roach. Tremendous tackle. And again, the awesome power of the All Black pack. Australia defending grimly, only 10 metres out from their goal line.
Yes, that was a very powerful effort. When you realise they're in an attacking position, they know very well that they can gain tremendous advantage with just a 20-yard or 20-metre push. And maul, here comes the push.
Here's the push from New Zealand. They're controlling at the back, it's Mexted. Lucas there. Offside, referee playing advantage. Good tackle there by Lucas. It was Steve Williams too, but that's a penalty to New Zealand. Well, Australia giving away the penalty that time. And Murray, watch him. Simon Poitevin is.
Well, no doubt they'll have a shot at goal. Australia, they thought that they were going to go for the quick tap. And New Zealand are not going to waste chances such as this. There it was there.
Well, the ball was just sitting there, and the question was whether it was out or not. The referee said no, it wasn't, so Lucas was penalised. But it certainly appeared to be sitting pretty close to the last foot in that ruck.
Yes, it was a near thing.
This will make the difference a converted try if he is successful.
Here he comes.
Hewson, 65 points last season in his 8 test matches, and 20 here at Athletic Park against Scotland. Struck it well. No goal.
Yes,
2 out of 5 for Hewson. Australia breathing a little more easily. 16 minutes gone in this second half. Australia leading by 19-10. Australians wasting a bit of time. Mark Ella. Cutler goes high. Knocked back by Hayden. Now it's Gary Knight. He's caught by Lance Walker. But New Zealand again controlling well. Murray calling for the ball.
Well, Australia obviously are going to be watching the clock all the time now. The only chance Australia really have of scoring, of course, is working their way down to the quarter. Difficult for them to score from way back here with this good New Zealand defence. That's relief.
Free kick Australia against Andy Dalton for having the foot up, not against Loveridge. And so the Australians now taking the tap kick. Ella. Gary Ella. Roger Gould. Loose pass, but picked up by Lucas. It was a high tackle on Gould, I thought. And Australia going forward, they should have the feed. No, it's gone the other way.
Some of that, the Australian back line is not really looking that good at the moment. They're trying a few things, but they're leaving, there seems to be gaps in the centre there, and when the ball goes astray, the All Blacks are very ready to pounce on it. This is Roach, I think, here injured.
Yes, well, this is Australia's mighty mouse, Chris Roach, dynamic little player. Richard Dunn, the Australian physiotherapist from Brisbane, comes out onto the field. Roach appeared to be rucked that time.
Yes, the All Black rucking is very, very good. It's very severe, extremely strong in everything they do. And the thing about them, of course, is the whole eight seem to know exactly what the other man is going to do, particularly in the rucks and mauls. Australia just that little bit too loose in the rucks and mauls.
Good ball again for Loveridge. Through the dummy. The New Zealanders in front of the kicker that time, but out on the full. On the line, the crowd booing, but they don't know their laws, I'm afraid. That one was on the line. Back you go. 35 metres out from Australia's goal line. Dave Loveridge with another of those snaky dummying runs, which is the hallmark of his game. Well, a desperately needed penalty for the Australians. Well, across the line, barging across the line by New Zealand. These lineouts really have been a dockside brawl today.
Well, there were 2 or 3 All Blacks poured through there. Certainly, the referee had no hesitation. Now, that's a good kick in face of this wind. It's taken Australia 12 metres into the All Black half.
So it's 19 minutes gone in the second half. 13-3 the line-out count New Zealand's way. What a whitewash for the Wallabies. Well won at the front by Higginson. They're running New Zealand. Taylor, he kicks across field. It's a good one. Higginson at the front of the line-out that time. And Mark Taylor on his left foot, driving play, 55 metres across field and up towards the Australian 22. Mark Taylor sporting a slight paunch there, probably a legacy of his 3 years in England. They enjoy their rugby and their socialising over there. Lance Walker throws in. Cutler went high. Not in straight, says referee Hosey. Well, no, must have been tapped forward by New Zealand. New Zealand pushing Australia over the mark. Big push from New Zealanders. And Philip Cox went into a heap of trouble there. A real dead end, you might say.
Yes, it was a dead end because the New Zealand pack, now, they're a magnificent pack. That was a great push, but the moment that ball was lost, 3 or 4 of them were out to gather Cox on that blind side.
Australians come better that time. And Cox doesn't find, yes, he does find touch. That was a very well-judged kick by Philip Cox, 11 metres from the halfway line. We're 3/4 of the way through this game. 20 minutes gone in the second half. It's Australia leading New Zealand by 19 points to 10. So the last 20 minutes of the game now, can Australia see it out? Here's big Steve Cutler, the gangling giant. Australia has been eclipsed in these lineouts. Over the back. Towed ahead by Hawker. Pokari, well tackled by Hawker. Great tackle. Roach is there. So is Poitevin. They try and wrap it up. Australia there. Rucking it back. Mark Ella to Hawker. Now it's Gould. Well tackled by Mexted. Lucas is there. And we'll have a lineout. Well, what a daisy cutter of a tackle that was from Murray Mexted, the number 8 from Wellington. But Peter Lucas has been everywhere this afternoon for the Australians, along with number 7 there, Chris Roach.
Yes, Lucas had a very sound game. He's been gathering up a lot of the loose ball that Australia have lost. Saved it on a few occasions. This is a free kick against Australia there. Hardly barging in the line out or cutting across.
Well, it's an indirect free kick. And it seems as though the Australians, again, weren't the metre apart in the line-out, standing too close together.
This could be a high one.
It'll be an up and under. Drop goal from Hewson, hasn't got the distance. Roger Gould, plenty of time. Left, right foot, and he doesn't, yes, he does find touch. Higginson, a very accomplished horseman, this fellow. He did a polo course at Harvard University, but he certainly wasn't on his horse that time. 8 metres from the halfway line. 22 minutes gone. John Ashworth at the front. New Zealand have it again. They have an overlap. Bernie Fraser. Mark Ella in defence. Campese. David Campese. Off he goes. Poitevins there. So is Maxted. But what a tackle that was by Mark Ella in cover defence. One of the great test match tackles, that one. And Campese coming through for the intercept. He really is a danger man. He's limping a bit though.
So I think he's pulled a muscle, unfortunately.
Walker at the front. Racked back here by Meadows. Cox to Ella. Hawker. High kick. Stu Wilson there. Taken away by Cutler with his height. Mark Ella again now to Gould. Australia not there in numbers though. Gould tries to set it up. Ella will probably work the short side, and Australia definitely going forward that time. They'll have the scrum feed 25 metres out from the New Zealand goal line.
Well, there's one problem for Australia at the moment. Further backfield. The Campese is the man down injured, and I have a strange feeling, an unfortunate feeling, that maybe Campese pulled a muscle in that last run.
Yes, well, he was holding his left thigh, and he may well have even got a kick or a cork there, Trevor.
Yes, it may have been that. Of course, he has that...
he has had a groin problem.
Oh, has he? Well, you know, he sort of has that little kick away that I thought may have strained the muscle, because he certainly hesitated for a while and then he went. Here's play coming out. This is the movement towards it.
Now there's Bernie Fraser, and there's the tackle of Mark Ella. What a great tackle it was. And there's David Campese now with his Muhammad Ali double shuffle, thank you. Audacious play from the teenager. But Australia now coming back into the game. They've certainly withstood some tremendous pressure from the All Blacks in this second half, but they're not giving ground.
No, strange as it may seem, the pressure all this half has been on Australia. But now with the clock ticking away, the pressure is starting to also go on New Zealand.
Gary Ella is an overlap for Grigg. Grigg with one man to beat. Gould's outside. Roger Gould, can he get there? He's still going. He's gone into touch.
Ooh, that was good play, good play. Good play by Fraser, but good play by Australia. Fraser on the wing for the All Blacks just managed to get Gould. Now Australia are really starting to put some pressure on. They've got to keep it up if they want to win this game. I wish that clock would get a move on, because I think it stopped the one I'm looking at.
Yes, there's 15 minutes to go in the match. Australia can't win the line out. It's another one to New Zealand. Poitevin at the bottom of that ruck. New Zealand clearly going forward. 10 metres out from their goal line. Australia leading by 19-10 after being given a bath in the line-outs by 15-4. 10 metres out from New Zealand's goal line. Loveridge, pressure here for Smith. He's in terrible trouble. Dear, oh dear.
Yes,
and that was Philip Cox again, this little terrier from the Manly Club in Sydney, coming through and putting enormous pressure on Wayne Smith, and just a little bit of panic now coming into the All Black camp. Philip Cox at the back. Mark Ella. Hawker, still going, setting up to Roach. Australia has it. Peter Grigg. Australia there in numbers. They have it again. Good play by the Australian forwards.
Well, as I said just a short while ago, the pressure has been on Australia. The pressure now really has come on Australia. Will never cease until this game finishes because of the win. But the All Blacks are now starting to run out of time. And when Australia can continue to play down in that quarter, All Blacks have a real problem.
Beautiful ball from Cox. Cut out pass to Campese. His leg's not quite right. He holds on.
This is
Stu Wilson, tackled by Poitevin. He didn't release the ball. 22-metre line. And Loveridge will make no mistake. Campisi's back there. What a take that was. Brilliant play by... Oh! Knock on. Well, after doing so well, he undid it all with a silly pass to Michael Hawker, who wasn't expecting the ball.
Well, that's youth for you, I'm afraid. Campisi did something like that in the first test. It was most unfortunate. It's brought New Zealand back into a position which is putting the real pressure now on Australia, when Australia were going so well and holding down in the New Zealand quarter.
Australia's scrum has done a grand job this afternoon. Gary Knight against John Meadows, the experienced campaigner on this side. Loveridge again with the dummy. Kicks ahead. Gould's back there. Good tackle by little Chris Roach on Loveridge. But Loveridge again throwing that dummy as he loves to on the short side. And Australia now having to survive pressure with 13 minutes to go in the test match. The crowd coming alive here. Over 30,000 people at Athletic Park, Wellington. And it's Australia leading New Zealand by 19 points to 10. Lance Walker. 20 metres out from the Australian goal line. Williams wins well to Cox. Tuella, good hands to Hawker. Hawker finds the open space. That's a good kick. Hewson's back there. It's going towards touch. He got his kick in. No, he didn't. He's into touch. 5 metres inside New Zealand's territory. And superb kick across field there by Michael Hawker.
It certainly was. Hawker had a good look. That's him, number 12 there. Had a good look. He realised he had a chance even against this wind, and he, fortunately for Australia, found it. The tension is very high here.
Australia can't control it. It's bobbing around like a volleyball match.
Well, Gordon said before the commencement of the game that the ball here in New Zealand has worried the Australians because it bounces around considerably. There was a fair indication how difficult the Australians have found it.
We've seen a magnificent effort from the Australian back row this afternoon, and I think they've taken the points over the illustrious New Zealand trio of Murray Mexted, Graham Murray and Mark Shaw. Deep channel for Australia. Cox kicks ahead. Fraser's back there. Nasty bounce for Fraser. Griggs through. Fraser in trouble. Bernie Fraser in big trouble there. He let the ball bounce.
Yes,
good chip ahead there by Philip Cox.
Was a good one, and now Australia have got themselves into a position now. I think that Australia perhaps should just tighten up a little bit. I know I'd like to see them just do an orthodox backline movement. They're getting themselves into trouble with long passes in the centre, but let's see what happens.
New Zealand have the line out again. Australia take it. Hawker, back to Campisi. Slipped it back. Ella's there. So is Bernie Fraser. Good defence by him. Australia again there quickly, but a knock on by the Australians. Campisi, it seems, is not able to stretch right out now after that knock on his thigh. It doesn't appear to be a muscle strain, more probably a cork, judging by the way he's walking. 10 minutes to go. Australia 19-10. Here's a kick from Smith. It's a good one. The wind really taking that one away. Sailing downfield back into Australia's half.
Well, it was a good kick. But Australia going fairly well. The reason I suggested I'd like to see Australia just do some orthodox backline movements, particularly when they were in the New Zealand quarter, is that there's less chance of making a mistake. We've got 10 minutes to go. Australia are 9 points in front. And down there, I don't think they have to take all those harum-scarum risks with that 9-point lead.
Cutler won well to Cox, to Ella. Ella sees a gap. Got it to Hawker brilliantly. Up towards halfway, Australia driving in. New Zealand try to spoil. Australia take it forward, but New Zealand come away. Here's an overlap for New Zealand. Pokari! He's tackled brilliantly. Fraser! Bernie Fraser! New Zealand back in the test match. It came from nothing. 19 points to 14. And we have 9 minutes to go. Let's watch this. It was Mark Shaw, Cowboy Shaw, who came away to Loveridge. Loveridge away to Pokeri, and watch him come inside Mark Ella. Look at the step. Loveridge inside. Pokeri did it so well. Tackle from behind, got it to Fraser. He came inside Campese, and Bernie Fraser over under the posts. Well, just when Australia looked to have this one pretty well in control, New Zealand have bounced back dramatically with a superb try, and this looks a formality for Alan Hewson with 9 minutes to go.
Yes, it should be a formality. It was a good try, but it really, full credit. There it is. He's kicked it and converted it. So there it is, 19 points to 16 in favour of Australia. But when you look back at that try, the people that got it for New Zealand obviously was the All Black pack. And it was there that they finally got the ball and from that ruck and did it very well. Watch for Ellis, unfortunately couldn't get himself on the right foot when the attacker stepped inside him. And this beautiful pass to Fraser, who then caught everyone on the wrong foot, took it round and put it behind the post. And so what an exciting finish we have with about 9 minutes to go.
Bernie Fraser scores his 4th Test match try, 3 of those against Australia. Hayden went high. They're driving again. It's Mexted, caught by Lucas. New Zealand controlling the ball. Here it comes. Loose pass this time. Smith gets away from the defence. Caught by Peter Grigg. They lost it forward. Mark Ella picks up. Got it back to McIntyre. Australia desperately want this one. Australia appeared to be edging forward. Let's wait for the referee, Alan Hosey. He says Australia's feed. There's 7 minutes to go. Australia by 19 points to 16. Some heart-stopping moments here for all you Australians watching this game. 19-3, Australia led at half-time. Ella. Griggs there. Gould. Well tackled. Bernie Fraser. Taken away by Poitevin. He was offside, says the referee. Ella going to query the referee. Perhaps Gould didn't release the ball when he was tackled. Hewson's kick. Too deep. No, it's found touch. What a kick. New Zealand scored their first try from a similar line-out.
Yes, now the pressure really has bounced back into the Australians. That was a great kick. So Australia forwards really have the job ahead of them. It is their throw-in at 1 metre from the goal line.
So the writing is on the wall for the Australians now. Hayden, who's done so well in this New Zealand line-out, an inspired performance. Loose ball. Cox is back there. 5 metre scrum.
Well, now a 5 metre scrum we'll probably see.
Will New Zealand go for a pushover?
The crowd saying heave, and that's exactly what I think New Zealand will do. It's their put in.
Australian scrum is low. It's now collapsed. Intercepted by Roach. Cox kicks ahead. His kick went out. Desperate situation for the Australians. 5 minutes to go. Australia clinging to a 3-point lead. 19 points to 16. Another vital line-out. The All Black backline. Forming an attacking formation. There's John, Pastures Meadows, Steve Williams. Taken at the front. Picked up by Chris Roach. Where did he come from? Up towards halfway. What a match he's had. Australia in there. They lost it forward. New Zealand have it. New Zealand slipping the ball away. Fraser's kick, a high one. It looks to be too deep. Back to the 22.
Well, Campese did well to get under that one. At first, probably everyone thought he should let it bounce. But he did the right thing. It was a difficult one to catch, but he tried to gather it because a bounce that could have bounced well back into the field of play. Good play by Campese.
Mark Ella now with the dropout. We're inside the last 5 minutes. The kick is a good one. Australia come through. Cutler's there. Roach again. He got the ball. The referee says it was knocked forward. It will be New Zealand's feet into the scrum. 4.5 minutes to go. Can Australia hold on? They led 19-3 at half-time. It's 19-16 their way now. New Zealand's got to score a try to win this game. And it's against Loveridge. Not feeding the ball straight. The crowd wasn't happy. Australia can take their time here. Australia has to win this game to keep the Bledisloe Cup alive.
Well, if Australia win this one, you can bet there'll be a packed house in Auckland for the third test. Great kick, great kick.
Wasn't that a magnificent kick? Roger Gould has gained about 35 metres there. The breeze has abated slightly over the last 15 minutes. Australia clinging to a 3-point lead. The clock seems to have stopped. I'm sure it hasn't. 19-16. New Zealand with the line out. Wayne Smith inside his 22. A good kick. Back inside Australia's half.
Well, Mark Ella will
3 minutes to go.
Fully aware that there's about 3 minutes to go. One of the clocks I'm looking at that says 5 minutes. I hope you're in Australia is faster than the ones I'm looking at. The tension is tremendous here. The crowd urging New Zealand on.
Number 5, Hayden can't win it. Cox is back there. Dalton wraps him up.
Well, every stoppage now suits Australia. But that stoppage, of course, is given position or to put in to the All Blacks. So
16-7 the lineouts. Australia coming back with some lineout ball over the last 15 minutes. 2.5 minutes to go. Australia precariously leading by 19-16.
And New Zealand are going to throw in their blind winger and their fullback into this attack.
They're all in, the New Zealand backs. Smith with the drop goal. Has he got the legs? It's out to the right. That wastes a lot of time. It was worth a go for Wayne Smith. 2 minutes to go. Australia 19-16, back to the 22. Can the Wallabies cling to this lead? What a gripping test match it's been. The Australian forwards have been outstanding in this second half. The All Blacks have thrown everything at them. Ella with the kick. Less than 2 minutes. Taken by Walker. Now it's Philip Cox. He finds touch. 35 metres out from Australia's goal line.
Well, Gordon, I've been to some exciting games in my life, but this one really has everyone on edge. I would reckon there's about 90 seconds left. Australia struggling to keep this fairly tight.
Well won by Hayden. An overlap for New Zealand. Pokari. Now it's Fraser. Caught by Peter Grigg.
Well done,
Simon Poitevin there for the Australians. They're trying to wrap this ball up. New Zealand ruck in. Poitevin being rucked by the shoving madmen of New Zealand. There's the whistle. It's all over. Australia has beaten New Zealand by 19 points to 16. Euphoria pervades the Australian ranks. That is one of the great test match victories here by these unsung Wallabies. 19 points to 16.